Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today we have the HTC One review for you. First things first, remember to like, 2 thumbs up, subscribe, and leave some comments down below. I know I've been gone for a little bit of time, but I am back with this review. I figured go hard or go home. So first things first, this is Daddy1424 for the media.purchaseguide.com. In case you didn't know, we bring you all your reviews daily. Let's go ahead and get to the review itself. So, we will start with the exterior of the device. You can see I have a case on here. Obviously, this is a spec case, and that's a whole other review within itself. I absolutely love this case. If you want to see a review on it, let me know in the comment section down below. I will go ahead and start by taking this case off so we can show you the beauty of the device itself. I am absolutely thrilled with this device. I couldn't be happier. I've played with the Samsung Galaxy S4, and quite frankly, I will answer the question right now. For me, the HTC One was the phone to go. But let's talk about why exactly. So first thing first is the build quality of the device. You can see it is fairly thin. Obviously the case did add some bulk. You can see the 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera with the LED flash, and of course you got your white strips, all aluminum chasing or build, and of course powered by Beats, where you get your front facing speakers right here. Dre Beats, that is, of course. You get your proximity sensors here, and of course your 2.1 front-facing megapixel camera. What is very interesting about this design is that the LED flash is actually in the grill here itself. It's not actually one of these proximity sensors. On the bottom, I believe you do have a microphone. I don't know if you can see that right there. And then, of course, your USB port. You have an additional microphone right there, and your HTC branding. And then you get your volume rockers on the side. Build quality, people have complained about it's being a little bit cut too narrow, and you can kind of see that right here. You can actually just kind of fit your nail in the corners of it. On the top, you get a IR blaster, my apologies, and of course your 3.5 millimeter jack. Now the IR blaster, we'll talk about a little bit more in depth when I show you the TV application. This, of course, comes with the touch capacitive buttons, the HTC, which is not a button itself, but you can obviously do a custom ROM, which will give you that ability. The home button, which you can double tap, obviously for multitasking, for task management, my apology, and then single tap, my apologies, to go back to the home screen. You get your back button, pretty standard, and you don't have a menu key, but you do get that in some of the actual applications itself, which we'll demonstrate later on in the video. So let's go ahead and unlock this device. I do have a password. I will just remove that. And here is the device. So one of the first things you'll notice, you're greeted by this screen here, which is essentially blink feed. This gives you all your information at a quick glance. You can actually update it. You can put new content or customize it to how you want to, what content you want. You can see that it is fast, it is quick. This does run obviously a quad-core 1.7 gigahertz processor, Snapdragon 600. Also comes with 2 gigs of RAM and an Adreno 320 GPU, so performance is definitely not an issue. You can see if you tap this here, you can obviously choose your topics and services, who you want for your news. More and more of them are being added daily, and of course up here you get your, good HTC Sense stuff, which is your weather and whatnot. When you click that, it opens up your weather and gives you these special effects, including the sound like that right there. And you can hear those Dre Beats. Now, a lot of people get this misconception. The Dre Beats, they're not going to give you better sound, what they're going to give you is better sound quality. So it's not going to be necessarily louder than, say, a Galaxy S4 or a Galaxy S3, but the clarity and the frequencies that it's picking up is going to be much, much better. Of course, in the bottom here, you have your dock. You can customize it if we open up the actual application tray. Natively, it will come. You can see you have your hide apps, manage apps, and grid size. The grid size will actually come at 3x4. Of course, you can change that to 4x4. If you want to change any items in the dock itself, you can obviously just go ahead. You have to open up your app drawer. That's important to have that open. Then take the application, drop it into the app drawer, and it will make it disappear. If you try and do it from a home screen, it will duplicate the item. But if you do it from the app drawer itself, you'll be able to replace it with a new icon, including the ability of folders, which you can make in your app drawer or pull it down to your dock as well. And I kind of like that little bit of a tweak. Some of the things I don't like about the device is the home screens. You can only have, you see I only have 3, but I only use 3. You can have up to 5, but that includes obviously your blink feed. If you want to set a different one as a home, you can just hold it and you'll get the option that says set as home on the top there, and you drag it up there and it will set that. So like I said, I don't use 5 panels, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these. And then of course you get things like your widgets, your apps, and of course your shortcuts. It's a little bit different than, say, your stock Android experience, but I find this to be more of a true one-to-one Android experience than, say, the Samsung Galaxy S4, because there's so much bloatware, not even bloatware, but so much stuff that Samsung puts in the device. And I understand that because of the transition to Tizen, it's going to make for very easy for consumers to be able to adapt because you're already used to the things that Samsung puts on their device. So obviously performance, this is quick, this is snappy, you're not going to get any faster than this, and we'll talk about a little bit in depth when we talk about the benchmarks. One of the things I wanted to mention to you obviously here is the TV application. So you'll actually be able to set this up as a universal remote via the IR blaster on top, and then it will recommend shows to you here, which you can see it shows my recommendations, and if I actually touch one, it will change that on my PVR and I'll be able to watch that show. And I can even go further by saying, okay, I want to see what movies are on TVs right now. I'll just go ahead and movies and it will bring them up. I can go ahead and switch to on later. One of the downsides it is missing is the ability to actually set it to record on your PVR. I believe the Samsung Galaxy S4 does do that. Also, another one of the negatives is when you pull down your notification bar, you don't actually get those toggles, but you can set that in the application. People have talked about that coming in an update 4.2.2, which people have been rumored to be coming in 2 to 3 weeks as of a week ago, because there's already been leaked builds of it. HTC actually announced a pure Google edition today, coming out June 26 for $599, available obviously in the States. So if you want to pick that up, you can do that as well. But I personally do like the innovations and things that Sense 5 does bring to this device. So we talked about benchmarks. Let's go ahead and show you what they actually clock in at. I'm going to show you 2 benchmarks here. One, you'll notice that there's an energy efficient saver mode here that I have actually enabled, which gives you a little bit more battery life. This is a 2300 milliamp battery. Just to show you some of my battery stats here, because I do have an application installed, because you don't get that native percentage on the top. I'm actually running at about 19 hours and 3 minutes. Sorry about the smudges on the screen, guys. And of course your battery is usually charged in about 4 hours and 19 minutes, give or take, because it obviously measures this by how long your charger is actually plugged into the device itself. So if it plugs in longer than the device actually needs to charge, it's going to up those stats a little bit. But my use, you can see, is actually really good. I do have obviously a screen protector, just to mention, installed here. I have one of these ZAG HD screen protectors, so the fingerprints are obviously there, but I know that I'm protecting my device, and there's really no scratches because of the case that I use. But again, let's go ahead and first we'll run the benchmarks with the energy saver off, and then we'll run the benchmarks with the energy saver off, and you'll notice that with it on will actually decrease your score, which on will actually increase your score. So let's compare this now to the Galaxy S4. We talked about some of the additional software features. Samsung Galaxy S4 has everything and anything you can want, and obviously HTC doesn't have as much. So HTC One definitely could use to add some on, or hopefully we see some updates, that 4.2.2 coming soon, and maybe even Android 4.3. But when talking about the core software features that this has, including your HTC Zoe and all those good things, I find that these are more practical features for me. The Samsung Galaxy S4 with the Air View, Air Gestures, and everything, and S Health, and S Hub, and S App, and S Photo Album. There's so much there, but not all of them are necessarily going to be practical features to each person. So for me, that's why I chose the HTC One. You're obviously going to get a better, more premium build. So let's go ahead and look at the benchmarks here that we managed to clock with the device being a power save. That was obviously 9,053. Now we will go ahead and run a benchmark again, but what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to go ahead and take off the energy saver mode, and you'll see how that will actually increase the score. Now I am using quadrant standard, if I pronounce that correctly. Let's go ahead and run the benchmark there. So while I'm doing that, I want to also leave one quick note to you guys. I'm sorry I haven't had a video in a while. A little bit, obviously not that many products out available. I will hopefully have a video for you guys next week, and my next big video will of course be the unboxing of The Last of Us. I had to remember the game there, was eluding me for a second. So that'll be June 14th, so tune in to me then to catch that video, and next week I should have a video as well. Remember to like and subscribe, and keep that subscribing going so we can get to that 5,000 and have that giveaway that I know a lot of you guys are waiting for. I've had giveaways in the past. This is going to be an even bigger giveaway, obviously more ambitious, so just click that subscribe button. You don't understand how much it helps me out so I can keep putting these videos forward for you. So let's go ahead and wait for this benchmark to close off, and then we will finish up the video. So you can see the benchmarks now here. We're at 11,671. I usually clock a little bit higher. I usually clock about 12,500. Sometimes, of course, it's hit and miss with quadrant standard. Of course, you get a lot of that from your CPU, just because you have such a powerful processor in this. So your performance when comparing to things like the Samsung Galaxy S4, you're not going to notice it, even though the Galaxy S4 does clock in higher. On your day-to-day use, you will not notice a difference. So this is the menu key that I talked about. You'll just get these buttons, and you get it pretty much on every application, and that will allow you to access your applications. And then of course double tap and you get your task manager, and you can just throw up to get rid of it. So that's pretty much everything for the HTC One review here at the MediaPurchaseGuide.com. Other than that, check our website. You can get more of a review, including the actual full score at themediapurchaseguide.com, and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you very much for the ongoing support. Like and subscribe. I will catch you guys next time. Daddy1424. Peace. Love.